Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Week 7 in the National Football League World of Matchups. It's early, man. I hope you guys appreciate this. It's 7 a.m., 8 a.m. PST. Me and Spencer are still here, man. It's going to take a lot more than a little being tired to not bring the heat to the people. Spencer, how are you this week, my dude?
I'm good, man. It's just football's so good. You know what I mean? It's some really good stuff. It's just something to look forward to every week, and it's exciting, and I just cannot wait. And I
This
think
is my
also the Raiders aren't like 1-4 to start the season, so I'm a little more optimistic around this time than I normally am for the past 20 years.
Yeah, seriously, this is literally my favorite part of the week, albeit I am exhausted, but that doesn't matter because the show must go on. Let's go. Browns at the Colts. Browns minus 3.5. Browns shocked the world last week. They take the Niners out. They had a chance to win that game a lot easier, if PJ Walker just goes down in the middle of the field and runs out some clock, but he does not. Big mistake. Gives the Niners a chance to win it. Kicker misses the kick. I'm going to tell you going in the door that my love for the Colts after last week's debacle is waning. I'm starting to think that Sam Ellinger should probably be the starting quarterback for that team. They're getting 3.5 at home with the mustache. I don't know, man. Something tells me that the Browns defense is going to be that deciding factor in this game. I normally would take the home dog here because their defense is okay. But Jonathan Taylor has really done nothing since getting paid. I have a funny feeling that I could see some balls being floated in the air here. Myles Garrett, meet Gardner Minshew. That 3.5, that scares me. But after winning only 6 games for the last 3 weeks here on the show, I'm going to start doing some things differently that I would normally do. And so I'm going to go Browns minus the 3.5 here. I think that the Colts season's pretty much over. Anthony Richardson is out. What are they playing for? They've got no real tight end threat. The Browns showed you when they absolutely have to, they can play versus anybody. And even with Deshaun Watson being on again, off again, I might play, I might not play. 3.5, it isn't that much to lay versus a bad Colts team. The Browns minus 3.5 if you're scared by the half point.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I don't think the Colts were ever really playing for anything this season. It's just one of those like rebuilding long-term processes. And the Browns defense, pretty much on a historic run. I think it's kind of flying under the radar a little bit, but I would imagine that if you look down their stats, there's no way they're not like somewhere in some sort of numbers. Everyone's able to manipulate numbers, though I'm sure there's something that you can do for the Browns since 1972 or something, stupid like that people always do. You see on Twitter, but at the end of the day, their football team is winning them games like by themselves, basically. And I just think that Gardner Minshew's okay, but when you face like a top, pretty much like 1 or 2 defense in the league, it's not going to go very well. I like the Browns here.
Yeah, I think that the Colts are going to have a hard time moving the ball. The X factor here is definitely the Browns defense. Fire them up with confidence. Next, the Buffalo Bills, they head to New England. They are minus 8 versus the Pats. I'm telling you, man, Spencer and I, we talk about this all the time, you guys, and we have been for quite a while about how bipolar the Buffalo Bills are. You just don't know what you're getting week in, week out. Like, if I was a fan of this team, I'd have to be on suicide watch every week because they just never do what you expect them to do. Like, literally, I'm going to take the Patriots plus the 8 here, and because I'm doing that, the Bills are going to win 31-10. I promise you. I'm telling you, this is exactly what's going to happen. But I just don't have the balls to lay the points after they stunk up the joint. Josh Allen is overrated, man. I'm sorry. He's a very good player. He's a very good quarterback. But again, I just think that they're trying to make him more of a pocket passer, and they need to let him just be the white Cam Newton. That's who he is. That's what he does. And if you take Stephon Diggs out of that offense, if you can hold him down, they are just nothing. They really are nothing. The Giants should have won that game. Let's be honest. That no call on that hold, the guy was absolutely tugging on Darren Waller's shirt. You have to call that. If you're calling all these BS calls for the Chiefs, you have to call that there. But again, it's not in the script. The Giants got hosed, and we all know it. I mean, stop. I cannot see in my right mind Bill Belichick and this Patriot team laying down. I know they have players who are hurt. I get it. But they are in their building. Defense is what they do best. Dude, the Bills just don't galvanize anything in me. The tight ends are mid. Dalton Kincaid has been a bust. They don't give the ball to James Cook. I could see a world where Mac Jones actually has a decent game here. And he stinks. He really stinks. X Factor is going to be Ramondre Stevenson. He's a good player, and they haven't gotten him going. If they ever get him going here in their building, I think they cover this 8 with ease. I cannot take the Bills anywhere. This team doesn't. The Bills, they forget to take their meds. That's who the Buffalo Bills are.
I'm going to tell you right now that I'm willing to take an alternate point spread for the Bills in this game. You are underestimating how dog water the Patriots are.
They are bad.
Up close and personal last week.
They're bad.
They are legitimately like one of the worst teams in the NFL, and they lost their 2 best players too in the last couple of weeks. And Christian Gonzalez, and of course Matthew Judon, who is just an absolute.
But the Giants, who had
monster.
no one on the road, took this team to the last second.
This is what the Bills do. This is what the Bills do. Now this is their time this week to have a 30-point win. I don't know. That's how I see it.
Yeah, you're right. I know you're right, too, but I'm still taking the Patriots here. Bill Belichick, this is it. You and me, man. This is it, bro. This is your last shot with me. Show up here +8. Jesus. Next. The Raiders quietly have won 2 in a row versus hot dog water teams, but a W is a W. They fly to Chicago in the Windy City. They're wonderful steak sandwiches. And they're -2.5 to take on Tyson Bagent. And the revitalized Bears. The Bears they're terrible. I'm telling you right now, folks, the Raiders are winning 3 in a row. Tyson Bagent was a D2 quarterback this time last year. They're going to smoke this team. I'm telling you, Max Crosby's going to have an absolute monster of a game. So is Josh Jacobs. Devontae Adams complaining about not getting the ball. Go look back to his career anytime he complains about not getting the ball. What happens the following week? Now, I know Brian Hoyer is absolute trash. We know this. These are well-documented facts. But he's better than Aiden O'Connell. You have to start this guy on the road. I like the emergence of Michael Mayer here. They have skill positions in Vegas that have been winning their games. Jacoby Myers has been playing very well. Who do the Bears have with no quarterback? Who's the Bears' defensive player that you have to worry about? This spread could be a touchdown, and I think the Raiders will cover. I think the Raider defense will actually do something in this game because the secondary is not going to have to do much because Tyson Bagent ain't throwing the ball. This, to me, is an absolute gimme. And again, just like last week, it's going to be my best bet. Raiders -2.5. Lit with confidence. Take out a second mortgage. Pawn your wife's wedding ring. I'm telling you, the Bears are done. I took the Bears once this year, and I will not take them ever again. They stink. Raiders -2.5. Field goal wins it, and their field goal kicker is house money. Carlson, when you conjugate that last name down, when you translate his last name, Carlson equals house money when it comes to kicking long field goals. Raiders in a rout.
Yeah, this is, I would have never thought that I would ever have the opinion that I wanted Brian Hoyer to start, and I'd be fine either way, to be completely honest with you, but here's the reality, right? The Raiders are 3-3, trying to go above 500, and you have a veteran quarterback who stepped in last week and played pretty well. So, I think it is the right decision this week. Whether Raiders fans want it or not, the Raiders are trying to win football games. And you and I know, or it's at least well documented for me, that I think most Raiders fans are garbage, like steaming hot trash. People are like abandoning the team. I'm like, dude, you guys aren't fans. I don't care who starts at quarterback for the Raiders. I'm going to sit my ass down on Sunday and I'm going to watch the Raiders play. And I'm going to root for Brian Hoyer to have a great game. And I think that he'll have a decent enough game. The one thing I admire about Brian Hoyer, and I think it's like one of his biggest faults is that he doesn't really like to check the ball down. Like the guy's going to chuck it down the field, and I think that's what gets him these like really bad interceptions sometimes. But to be honest with you, after what I've seen this year, I'll take a long pick, like an arm punt, over the garbage that I've seen from like Jimmy G this year, who's playing really, really, really bad.
He's horrible.
So I like Brian Hoyer enough in this game against a really bad Bears team. So I would say like last week felt like a trap game for the Raiders, where they always lose those games, and they won it. So I feel much more confident this week that this team can come in Chicago and go above 500. I really like what I'm seeing, especially from the defense. Obviously, they're looking borderline top 10 in the last 3 weeks. I don't think they are a top 10 defense, but they've been playing like one for the past 3 weeks.
They look good, man.
And that's just really, really fun to see, to be honest with you. I'm having a great time watching Raiders for the first time in a really, really long time.
I'm telling you right now, if you're a fan of this team, you have to like what you've seen. They won the last 2 games with defense. And whether you folks, I'm telling you.
You wouldn't know that, but I see you.
It's true. And whether you folks in the rest of the United States want to recognize this or not, man, Las Vegas is on the map. You guys need to start giving our city some respect. Aces go back-to-back. Golden Knights win the cup. Raiders are about to win 3 about to win 3 in a row. I mean, I'm from New York, but this is my home now, and I think it's time the flowers show up at our doorstep. Next, Washington Commanders -3. They head to the Meadowlands to play the New York Football Giants, who with Tyrod Taylor actually took the Bills to the mat. I like the Giants here. Don't ask me why. I just think the Commanders, they overachieved last week. I mean, Desmond Ridder is an absolute stiff, and that defense did look great. But there comes a point in every team season. Like, let me say this first of all. The wheels are off on the season. This is week 7, so what you show every week is who you are. There's no more preseason excuses. This is who you are. And I think the Giants realize that this is not who they are. The Giants are a proud, storied franchise with rings that have to play this game in front of their fans in starting to get colder weather temperatures, and it's a division game. Are the Commanders really that good? I mean, Sam Howell is like a really bad version of Brett Favre with the gunslinging. Darren Waller, at some point, this guy has to show up. I mean, if Daniel Jones plays this game, can you really think that the Commanders win and cover this game? I mean, where's Kayvon Thibodeau? And I'm taking the 3 points for this reason and this reason only. Saquon Barkley is back, man. They're a different team with Barkley on the field because they can sustain drives. They can sustain drives with Barkley, and Barkley has come out and openly said this week that I want to be a Giant for life. I don't want to be traded. I want to be here. This is my home. I bleed blue. I don't trust Washington, man. Every time I have trusted them, they have screwed me. I trusted them in their own building versus the Bills, and they got absolutely murked. I like the Giants here for some reason, so I'm going to take the home dogs into 3, and I'm going to bleed blue with them. Do I think it's going to be a good game? No. Do I think it's going to be a close game? Yes. I just do not trust Sam Howell anywhere. And so for that reason, I'm taking the Giants in the points.
Yeah, this is a game in terms of betting that I'm going to be very, very far away from because it's just weird. It's just 2 bad teams. It's in division. So 2 bad teams in division. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to agree with you. I'll take the points. Whatever side they laid on, that's who I'm going to take this week. So it's even better now that it's home dog. So I agree with you here. In a game like this, you just got to take the division guys who are playing at home. Division, man. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. This is one of those games where, like, it screams bet Washington, and I just can't do it. Next. This game is very annoying to me. I don't even want to break it down, but we're going to do so. Atlanta Falcons travel to Tampa Bay. Tampa is at home. Tampa -2.5. Tampa, I told you last week what would happen if I took you and you screwed me, and that's exactly what you did. And so I'm done with you. We're done, man. It's done. I mean, like, I'm going to write a breakup song like Taylor Swift over you. It's over. It's done. I will not take you here. I'm sorry. And Desmond Ridder absolutely stinks. He is an absolute stiff, and I'm still not taking you. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Somehow, some way, the Falcons are going to keep this game close, whether it's, Kyle Pitts is the version of Lazarus that I think he could be, or Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier keep it close. Pick 6, scoop and score, special teams. I'm not touching this game at all. Tampa, I cannot
believe you guys lay down in your building like you do. Seriously, I've never seen a team lay down more at home and not put up a fight versus other good teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm telling you right now, I think that Drake London, I think the skilled players that find a way into this game with the Falcons. Nobody is going to take the Falcons here after what happened last week with Desmond Ridder. Nobody. You know who is? I am, and World of Matchups is. Take the 2.5. Don't take them with confidence. Stay away from this game completely if you absolutely can. But I swore to Spencer that we would break down every single matchup when we made this whole thing go. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. And I'm going to take the Falcons and Arthur Smith. I hope Desmond Ridder gets benched. I don't even know what the backup is. That guy comes in and throws a million touchdowns. Falcons plus 2.5.
Yeah, this is the thing, man. Taylor Heinicke is the backup for Atlanta, and if he was playing, I'd have a completely different tune.
Put Heinicke. I hope Desmond Ridder gets benched. Put Heinicke in this game, and Falcons are a lock.
I think the Falcons could have 4 wins if Taylor Heinicke had been playing from the start of the season.
Desmond Ridder sucks, dude.
This is just like last year for Atlanta, man, where you just have this like mobile quarterback who can't throw that much, and it just kills them. Like it's all these close games, and it's what loses them for them. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers here because I just have such little faith in Desmond Ridder. It's not like he's the worst quarterback of all time, but man, he just makes some mind-boggling throws, and
he just throws the ball to the other team.
I could just see like a really bad interception that ruins this game for them, and the Buccaneers win. So I'll take the Buccaneers at home. I know it's hard to after last week, but I don't know. I think I give a lot of credit to the Lions. They are just a tough team to play. And I'm going to take the team at home, and I'm going to take it against a really bad quarterback in Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, I'm done. I'll never date the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ever again. It's over. Next. Speaking of the Lions, they fly to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, one of the better games this week. My friend's going to be at this game. Shout out Big Daddy. Let's go Ravens -3. I'm going to take the Ravens here. I really do like what the Lions are doing. I have liked the Lions. Go look at the podcasts from this time last year. I've been on the Lions bandwagon for a long, long time. I've been telling you, Goff is better than you think anywhere. Home, road, it don't matter. You can break down these numbers. You saw last week what Goff could do on the road, period. And he played most of that game without a running game, all right? So I think they could do it again, but something tells me that the Ravens know that this supposed juggernaut of a team that is coming in is doing what they should be doing. What the Lions are doing is what the Ravens should be doing. And in their building, I think they're going to show everybody that they're still a very decent team. They're better than decent. They need to play better. Lamar showed up last week, to my surprise, and had a decent game. I'm going to take them here. The Lions are banged up, man. Craig Reynolds, Jahmyr Gibbs may play, may not play. Mandatory Montgomery, because he's got rib cartilage damage. He's out. I mean, they're just banged up, and eventually you're going to get clipped here. Do I think they're a 6-1 team? I think the Lions are more of a 5-2 team, and I think that really manifests itself this week. Goff has been very good. He really has. But for Goff to be really good, that running game has to be working so that play action works. I don't know if that Detroit defense will have enough here. I know they're good. Every time I talk about Detroit's defense, I just envision Jalen Carter being on that line. You should have kept Swift, drafted Jalen Carter, put him on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson, and then I would be picking you here. I'd be picking you here because that would be an absolute nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. But I do think that Lamar plays well here. I think that Mark Andrews gets involved a little bit more this week. I think they're going to really have to start finding a way to get these wide receivers in the mix. And I think their defense is going to make a timely turnover on Goff, and I think they're going to cover the 3. Ravens -3 at home.
Yeah, I think you're pretty spot on here. It's just one of those games in the regular season where a team plays really bad the week before, and it's just something that just sits wrongly with them, you know what I mean? And they just really need a good game against a good team. And I think Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in the NFL, for sure. Yeah. So I could see it happening, especially, just thinking about that Steelers game, man, that was one of the worst games I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I can't imagine they can play that bad ever again. It was so horrible. It just sticks in your mind. I don't even care about either of those teams. So, yeah, I like the Ravens here. I think the Lions have had, like, a really good run. they obviously are a very good team. But when you're super banged up, you're playing a super desperate team at home. It's just like everything that the Ravens need, I think, right now to get a good win.
Yeah, this is one of my best bets as well. I really like the Ravens this week, and I don't like them ever. Next, the Arizona Cardinals are at the Seattle Seahawks. They fly to Seattle, division game. Seattle's -8. I'm telling you, man, Arizona has shown me something this year. They have played hard all year long. Josh Dobbs is the unsung hero of the National Football League. I mean, honestly, I know they activated Kyler Murray, but there's two schools of thought here. One, they're activating this guy to get him on the field eventually so they could showcase him and get rid of him. Because in order to sell a product, you have to showcase a product. There's that. And then there's two, that they activate him to kind of make him happy, but don't really play him because Josh Dobbs has been playing well. I mean, they lost to the Rams, right? But were they in the game? They lost to the Niners, right? But yeah, they were in the game. I mean, they've done enough. Joshua Dobbs is better than most NFL quarterbacks right now. And who knew who this guy was last year? I mean, I think 8 is too much for a division game here. I really, really do. Somehow Arizona stays in these games till the end, man. And Seattle, I don't know, man. They've screwed me enough times to know that they shouldn't be laying 8 to anyone anywhere. DK Metcalf has got all kinds of problems. He's game time decision, very, very questionable, maybe even on the other side of questionable. Can Tyler Lockett carry the mail by himself? I don't think so. You may see some JSN here. Who's their tight end of note? Will Dissly. Get these guys out of here, man. That guy's a bum. I don't know about Geno Smith deserving the contract that he's deserved. He's kind of reverting back into the old Geno Smith a little bit, and that defense is saving him. That Seattle defense is playing really at an elite level, but I still think 8 is too much. At any given time, you have the Marquise Browns and the freaking Michael Wilsons of the world and some whatever no-name cornerback. Zach Ertz, the corpse of Zach Ertz, scores a late touchdown and backdoors you. I can't lay 8, man. Not with Seattle. They don't score enough. In a division game that matters, Josh Dobbs knows he is on his way out. And he's going to showcase himself to try to be the next Geno Smith for a team. Arizona +8 is the play.
Yeah, division games, 8 points. It would have to be something so disparate, like a big disparity in skill, like the Chiefs and Broncos. But I feel like those are like unique opportunities, if you know what I mean. Like, there's no way.
And the Chiefs just covered that game, so.
Yeah, but I don't think the Cardinals are so much worse than Seattle. Seattle just has these pockets and moments, and especially, yeah, you're right about Geno Smith. It just did not play his best game last week, and it just feels like their offense should have went to the next level, like, after last season. And it almost feels at the same level, or maybe just like not
it's
like
worse.
Horrible, just slightly worse. And it's like
worse.
Something just weird about it. So yeah, I love the Cardinals here. This is one of my favorite bets of the week, I think.
Yeah, I love them big time too, man. Their defense is slept on. No one gives them any credit at all. No one gives some of these bad teams any credit, and that's what I like about the show. It's like, we love our teams, but like, we're NFL fans first, man, and we'll call it like we see it. And I think Arizona Cardinals, even in a lot of losses, they've played better than some of these teams who are stealing money with some of the wins that they're getting. I love them +8 a lot. Next, my upset special of the week. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams did what they had to do last week, but it was pretty. I think this is where we may start to see the fall of the Rams. Something tells me, man, that Matthew Stafford is not going to stay healthy all year long. I don't know what it is. I like Stafford a lot. I think he's the toughest quarterback in the league. Now he's got his ring. Now he's got someone to help Cooper Kupp on the other side and Puka Nacua. But Kyren Williams is out. This is huge, guys. Kyren Williams was the engine for what they were doing. He allowed the chains to move. Now he's out. The corpse of Darrell Henderson and some other scrap heap of bums is back there. If they can't run the ball on Pittsburgh, they're going to be in trouble here. I know Pittsburgh is flying across the country, but they are flying across the country off their bye. This is key, okay? And they get Deontay Johnson back, who's a chain mover. He's a chain mover. Now, I've been calling for this all year, and I'm going to take a shot and swing here and hope I hit a home run. I think this is the game where Najee Harris gets benched and we see the emergence of Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren has outproduced Najee Harris every single week this season. Every single week. Najee Harris is the new Eddie Lacy.
Trent Richardson.
He the new Eddie Lacy. I don't want to hear a word about how bad the Steeler offensive line is. He's just not good anymore. And I loved Najee Harris going into this year. I just don't see it anymore. And so Jaylen Warren's more elusive. He's faster. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. If Matt Canada and Mike Tomlin had any brains in their head, they would give this kid the ball 25 times and tell everybody else to get out the way. And I think this might be the week that you see it. I think Pittsburgh's defense with Watt and Minka, they're still a very solid D. They play hard. They play really hard every single week. And I think that if you can get around Matt Stafford, you can get him rattled. That's any quarterback. Just got to hear footsteps. They're going to double Cooper Kupp, and they're going to make Puka beat them. Higbee's going to beat you? I'm not seeing it. Okay, without a solid run game, I think the Rams are in trouble here. So I'm taking Pittsburgh plus the 3.5. And it wouldn't shock me to see Pittsburgh win this game. They already proved to everybody they can win on the West Coast. Everyone and their mother is going to love the Rams here except me. I love the Steelers. Upset special alert from World of Matchups. Take that 3.5 and roll.
Oh man, this is tough. Yeah, I like the Rams in this game. I just think that the secondary for the Steelers is so dog water, and I think that if you look at the biggest strength of the LA Rams, it's for sure their wide receiver core. I could just see them getting carved up. You know, they're going to get the ball out quick. There's going to be a lot of receivers open. And I feel like every time I have confidence in the Steelers, I watch them get like 10 yards in the first half of a football game. Like, unironically, like 10 yards, like 1 first down. I mean, that Ravens game, they should have never won that. Like, their defense made some great plays, but you know, the Baltimore offense is just anemic sometimes, much like the Steelers. And the Rams offense, that's not the way to describe it. They feel like they're clicking on all cylinders. Cooper Kupp is unstoppable. So I'm going to go with the Rams here. I could see it just getting out of hand, right? Like if it's a 10-point lead for the Rams, I don't feel confident that the Steelers can get enough offensive plays to make that happen. They're depending on their defense scoring touchdowns for them. And that is just really, really, really not good. So I'm going to take the Rams here. I just don't have confidence in the Steelers as a full team.
Yeah, something's going to have to happen with that backfield this week, and I'm going to take a stab at it because I'm thinking that this could be the week. I mean, I know what I see when I watch Najee Harris. What are they seeing? They have to be seeing the same thing. And this is week 7, and you've hung in there to this point, not playing well. At some point, you have to say, you know what, we're going to take a shot at this and see if we can hang in there in our division and maybe hang in there in the AFC and bust out some of these secret weapons. Jaylen Warren and Deontay Johnson could be enough to steal this game on the road if they play these guys. Next, Packers. They head to Denver, the Mile High City. They're minus 1.5. I can't take the Packers anywhere. The Packers are gross, man. Packers stink. Every time I take them, they play me. And so I'm taking the Broncos here for the simple reason, 1, they're home. 2, they're minus 1.5, which they can kick a field goal. They can kick field goals from 80,000 yards away and make them in the Mile High City. And 3, trade deadline's coming. They're literally they're tanking, but they're going to at least showcase talent to get some of these guys off the team and see what they can get. They're parting with Russ. We all know this. That was the worst trade in the history of the NFL. That's horrendous. They got hosed. Bad. They know they got hosed. Their defense is better than people give them credit for. They cannot have been that good and be this bad now. And they got to get some of this talent off the team. Jerry Jeudy will be gone. Watch Jerry Jeudy have an amazing game Sunday. I mean, Jair Alexander is great. He's going to be on Cortland Sutton. Jerry Jeudy should go crazy. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, man, this is my last shot with you too. This is it. If you don't show up here, man, at least 7 catches for a touch, you're done. We're done. It's over. You know, I mean, I had a serious man crush on you coming out of college, and you have done absolutely nothing. Sean Payton is still good. I mean, the Chiefs barely won that game. I know they covered, but Denver was in that game. I mean, for a team that got hung 70 on them, I mean, that game should have been over quick, and it wasn't. They hung in there. They played tough, and now they're home. Javonte Williams is maybe finally starting to turn the corner. I don't know. I just can't see the Broncos being this bad. I mean, conversely, we've watched Jordan Love stink up the joint on every road game he's been in. I mean, they've been bad. The Raider game, I mean, he's been bad on the road. Really bad. Will having Aaron Jones back be a difference maker? What if this kid doesn't play? He's on the other side of questionable, too, after missing a couple games. Now, even if he does play, I mean, the Broncos defense is a proud defense. They should play good at home. And I think the Achilles heel here is I don't think that the Green Bay Packers have learned from watching Jordan Love just force the ball to Christian Watson down the field. It's like, oh, he's down there somewhere. Just throw it up. That's how the Raiders beat them. He just kept throwing it up. Dude, that guy's not Randy Moss. You're throwing into triple coverage? Stop. I think that's an easy, resounding W for the Broncos here. I don't think the Packers are any good. They have had flashes of being okay, and okay is not enough to beat a decent team at home that's desperate and looking for a fire sale. Broncos plus the 1.5. Let's roll.
Yeah, man, this is an ugly game. It's just, I don't think it's going to be a very good football game between the two. Maybe it'll be entertaining, but I don't think it's going to be particularly good. I think the winner in this game is probably like the under. I could see like that happening. I don't know.
45.5.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of points.
That's a lot of points for these two teams that can't score.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I'll take the Broncos, which just feels gross because they are so bad, but so are the Packers. It's just like one of those games where it's like the Broncos just desperately need a win, and I just don't feel any form of desperation from the Packers. When I watch them play, there's no urgency. There's no like energy about it. I can't really explain. It's very strange, but yeah, I'll take the Broncos, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Packers put in a good game. The Broncos look just as bad as they have at other points in the season. But, you know, if I have to make a pick, I'm going to take the Broncos here at home.
Fire sale. This is what's really pushing me to take them. I mean, you have to showcase what you have. You know, I mean, the Broncos are thinking about 2025, 2026 right now. They're like, okay, what can we get for Jerry Jeudy? That's what they're thinking. Okay, let's put him out there. What can we get for Javonte Williams? Because you could find a 6th-round running back. I mean, look at Isaiah Pacheco. 7th round, you could find a running back. They're showcasing these guys. And they're home, and the fans are paying $1 million to watch a horrible product. You cannot lose in your building versus the Packers. I mean, even the Raiders won at home versus the Packers. Get it together, Broncos. I mean, even if they lose, I'm enjoying it. So it's a win-win for me if they win or lose. Next, game of the week, Sunday Night Football. Actually, let's do the Kansas City Chiefs game first. We'll do the Chiefs. Chargers, Chiefs. I think this should have been Sunday Night Football, but the Chargers are hot dog water. So we'll talk about how bad they are here in a minute. But Chiefs at home minus 5.5. I'm going to tell you going in the door. Normally, I would take the Chargers here. 5.5 is not a lot. It's too much. The Chiefs offense has not shown you anything at all. But I'm trying to break this trend I have of just getting 6 or 7 wins a week and going against what my general thought process about my team. And I'm going to take them to win. I'm going to take them to cover here. Now, all last year the Chiefs won, but they didn't cover versus anyone. In all their wins this year, they've covered. Every single one. How is this possible with a regressing offense? It doesn't make sense to me, but this is the NFL, and this is why they play the games. Couple things. McCole Hardman is back. I don't know how many reps he's going to get, but that brings an added part to the offense that we're so sorely lacking. 1, a guy has hands. 2, he's fast, and he knows the playbook. Hardman's better than people gave him credit for. We thought we were going to do a lot better without him, and that hasn't been the case. So Patrick Mahomes gets a shiny new toy back that he can rely on. Jet sweeps are now a thing. He can catch the ball on punt returns, kick returns. This is a thing now. I don't know what he's going to get this week. If he gets 20 reps, I'd be shocked, but he's there. That's a galvanizing move for the team. There's rumblings that Frank Clark is coming back. That signing could happen today. Nice depth piece. We're getting the band back together. But the big part for me is the emergence, and they're going to bring back Charles Omenihu here, who has been on the suspension list for some domestic violence nonsense. This is going to be his first game back with the defense, who has been playing lights out. That defense is a top 5 defense right now. Whether you want to believe it or not, I will debate this to my last breath. The Kansas City Chiefs are a top 5 defense right now. In comes Justin Herbert. Broken finger on his non-throwing hand, which wasn't too much of an issue for him on Monday night. But when you need Justin Herbert to be elite, he's not elite. Justin Herbert is not elite. Okay, folks? He is not. He's the golden boy that you want him to be, but when you need Justin Herbert, he does not win games. Justin Herbert is a social media quarterback that puts up stats. That's who he is. Austin Eckler wants Saquon. He wants all these guys to get paid. You know what I mean? They want that McCaffrey money. They want that Jonathan Taylor money, so he's going to be playing hard. Joey Bosa's got a broken toe. Is there another more overrated defensive player than Joey Bosa? I mean, the best ability is availability. He's never right when you need him to be, but he'll be out there. Khalil Mack will still be out there. I mean, it's not like the Chargers are not going to be in this game. Keenan Allen's having a renaissance career year. That guy's been fantastic. But the biggest thing here is if Derwin James is out, and right now he's on the other side of questionable, leading more towards doubtful. I mean, he'll have to pull a Lazarus to play. He didn't practice yesterday. I see Travis Kelce going bananas here. And if Taylor Swift is in the building, it's over. They're winning and covering. I mean, I know if I was playing in front of my girlfriend, I would be playing hard. Patrick Mahomes has to play better. They have to run the ball. I think Isaiah Pacheco runs all over the Chargers here. And I think that we get a Chiefs offense for the first time this year, like the Chiefs offense that we saw last year. The one that can score 30 in their building. And the defense is so much better. Top 5 defense with Patrick Mahomes has to be a win in their building. Chiefs minus 5.5. I don't love it. I'm more of a homer on it and more hopeful on it. But I think you're going to see it tomorrow. Chiefs 27, Chargers 17.
I don't know, man. The Chiefs just don't move me this year. There's just something that's just like, I don't know if it's like missing. It just seems to be like a little lack of something coming out of them. Like if Patrick Mahomes was not the quarterback, like let's swap out even a decent quarterback like Kirk Cousins.
They'd have 2 wins.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just feel like this Chiefs team would be like bad, and it just tells you how good Patrick Mahomes is, pretty much.
He's the MVP every year.
It's crazy. So I'm going to take the Chargers, but the Chargers are just historically bad at finding ways to lose. But I don't know. I just feel like if the Chargers get going offensively somehow, then I just could see the Chargers like. I don't know what their record is. I don't remember the last time the Chargers had a win against the Chiefs. It's kind of been a while.
We've won our last 3.
Yeah, so I don't know, just when you think about that kind of stuff, the AFC West, other than the Broncos, right? Every time I talk about something, I think the opposite is like the Broncos because of how bad they are. But yeah. I would think almost any other division matchup, like in the NFL, like 3 in a row is like a very like large amount. Maybe other than like the Jaguars when they face the Texans or something like that. Would be the only other case I can think of at the top of my head. But I'm going to take the Chargers here. It's just until I see the Chiefs really like play a great game. I don't know. I'm just 5.5 seems like a large amount for a team that like slugged against the Broncos.
It is. I'm putting my money on that. This is the breakout week, but the smart money is going on the Chargers. The last 3 games have all been 3-point wins. I'm just Sometimes when you need it to happen, it happens. And I need it to happen because there's a lot of different variables that have been positive for Kansas City this week. And I think that they realize they cannot continue to play like this and go into January deep. They have to do something differently. And I think if they do something differently, they win this game and they win it handily. I mean, Dak Prescott stinks. You know what I mean? You just lost to the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football in egregious fashion. I mean, you're 2-4 because you're 2-4. I know it's a division game, but you're 2-4. And again, like when I see it, it'll be the first time I see it. Go get me the win when I need it without a flag thrown. And that's when I will be like, okay, Justin Herbert, but I just haven't seen it. Stop with he's being elite. He's a top 10 quarterback.
I don't know, man. Even thinking back, like about the Chargers, like if Brian Hoyer played against the Chargers, I'm starting to feel like the Raiders may have
The
won
Raiders
that
would
game.
have won that game.
And suddenly, the Chargers are a one-win football team. You know what I
This
mean?
is what I'm
So
saying.
yeah,
They're not good, bro. They're not good.
they
They're
are,
not.
but they're just coached so badly.
They're coached
This is
really,
going to be
really
another
poorly.
Chargers roster that we look
Well,
back and be like, oh my gosh,
They
some
play
Hall of
better on the
Famers
road
down there.
too. So
Yeah,
far,
I don't know.
There's no home field advantage.
It'll be an entertaining game.
It will be Chiefs money line for sure. Chargers plus the points, but I'm leaning with my heart this week because I have to see something out of this Kansas City team here. I mean, I have to. I mean, I'm so concerned. It's not even funny. And to think that you're a Super Bowl champ in Week 7 and you're worried, that should not be the case. But running it back is harder than winning it. We know this. These are well-known, documented facts. Next, game of the week, Sunday Night Football. The Miami Dolphins head to the Philadelphia Eagles to take on the whole entire city of Philadelphia. This is going to be an exciting game. Miami's -3. I mean, the Eagles are -3. Miami's +3. I like the Eagles here. I like the Eagles coming off a loss. And before we even go into it, my best call this entire year, my best call, I said it with my chest, was the Jets beating the Eagles. I just smell that from a mile away, and that's what came to fruition. And they lost in such egregious fashion that I think that the Eagles really get it together this week. They were banged up last week. They're getting all those guys back this week. Sunday Night Football under the lights. They got the Kelly green uniforms out. This is going to be an Eagle win for sure. Now, I know Miami can score. The odds makers have set it up, so you're going to be like, yeah, Miami will stay in this game, and they should. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, I get it. I get it, people, but believe me, this is a hole in the middle of the road that the odds makers are wanting you to fall in here. Look at Miami this year away from Miami. Look at every single performance outside of Miami. They're not the same team. They're not the same team on the road. Do they play well? Yes. Are they going to play well enough to beat a team coming off their first loss who's pissed, getting all their guys back? I don't think so. They still don't have Jalen Ramsey back. Devonta Smith has been very average. I think this is the Devonta Smith game. They can run the ball, the tush push, the defense. I think Miami gets beat up here and beat up in a big way. Will Tyreek have his way? Yeah, because the Eagles secondary is their Achilles heel. There's going to be points scored in this game for sure. I like the over, which is 51. I know that's a lot, but I see there's going to be fireworks on Sunday night. I really, really do. But Tua in a big spot. This is Tua's first big spot next to the Buffalo game. And they got destroyed in Buffalo. I don't see how anyone can not think the Eagles are going to not show up here after a loss. They're reeling after that loss. They know they didn't play well. I think that this is the Jalen Hurts week. I think this is this is going to be a holiday for Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to absolutely eat on Sunday Night Football. I think you're going to see more of the Jalen Hurts that you saw in the Super Bowl than what you've seen so far this season. Free Jalen Hurts. Let this guy run some more, man. He's not a pocket passer. You're forcing him to try to be something he's not. Let this guy spin. And if you do, Miami is done. I'm taking the Eagles, and I'm taking them with confidence. 3 is not enough here versus a team like Miami that does not play great on the road.
Yeah, there's a few things about this Dolphin team that is true, right? They're explosive. They have a bad defense, and they hide Tua a little bit.
They hide Tua.
I'm not trying to say that Tua is a bad quarterback. That's just a lie, right? It's not just saying like, oh, you could put anyone back there and they'd be just as good. But he's hidden a little bit, okay? It kind of, in the same sense that the Warriors hide Steph on defense, I almost feel like they hide Tua and like put him in very specific situations, you know, like this is what you're supposed to do then. There's just been some times and it just leaks out every once in a while and it gets hidden because of how like, you know, just like bombs every once in a while for the Miami Dolphins. But there are times when Tua just does some really bad things, like things you would not expect from a like Super Bowl caliber team, right? Because that's the only thing that really matters for the Dolphins, doesn't it? Like we know they're a playoff team, no doubt about it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Coached. They played the Bills. It's just, man, that's just like a really like gives you a different perspective.
Look at them on the road, guys. Don't take my word for it. Go look at every road game they've played.
I could see Jalen Carter just like making this game absolute like hell for Tua. That's kind of just how I see it going. So I don't think. I don't know. At the same time, the Eagles secondary is really bad. The winner of this game is the over, in my opinion. So,
I'm telling you,
but I like the Eagles. I like the Eagles. I don't feel super mega confident about it, but it just seems like a game that the Eagles are going to play really physical, and I just think that does not bode well for the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Raheem Mostert train gets derailed. This guy's overachieved all year long. Jeff Wilson, these guys aren't going to be able to run the football, so now you're going to force Tua to throw. And when you're one-dimensional on the road in Philly, which is not anywhere else, okay, there's road cities, and then there's Philly. They threw batteries at Santa Claus, okay? No, dude, y'all got to understand what I'm saying here. Under the lights for the world to see, the Eagles are a different animal. I'm telling you right now, I love the Chiefs. I would not go to Philadelphia wearing my colors. Okay? And I'm not a pussy.
Dude, right? NFL stadiums are like UFC cages now. It's crazy.
I've got some Vikings friends that have gone there and watched some games when it mattered. Dude, they were fighting for their lives. Okay? So, your warm weather team away from your building. I don't know, man. Now, this is a recipe for disaster for me. I mean, I think I might love the Eagles more than most people do here. I just can't see Tua having to win the game by himself. Can Tua win a game by himself? There's only a handful of quarterbacks that can take over a game and win them by themselves. To this point, Tua is not one of them. Eagles minus the 3. Lay it with confidence. And then Monday Night Football. This is going to be the game that I'm just going to – I have no idea why I'm taking the Vikings here. They're home plus the 6.5 versus the 49ers. Could it be a little carryover of what I saw versus the Browns? Because I watched a lot of that game. The 49ers don't look right, and they don't look right because they're not healthy. You don't even know if CMC is going to play. He's on the optimistic side of questionable. If the Niners were smart, if he really has a major oblique injury, they would hold him out. Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, these guys don't galvanize me, although Jordan Mason has played very well this year. Jordan Mason could be a starting running back for a lot of teams. He's looked very good. But I think Kittle is overrated. He's 3 touchdowns or he's 1 catch. The X factor here is Brandon Ayuk. Can the Minnesota defense do enough to just keep Brandon Ayuk in check? Debo's got the shoulder. He could be into the game, out of the game. And we talk about hiding quarterbacks. Let's be honest. I know Purdy's look good, but they hide him too. They hide him too, man. And so they're on life support here in Minnesota. They're another very proud home franchise where everyone's showing up. There'll be a lot of Niner fans there, but there will be a ton of Viking fans there under the lights. Kirk Cousins can be erratic, but if he gets any kind of protection, he turns into Kirk Thuggins. And they still have decent offensive skill players. Hawkinson should have a big game. Osborne should have a big game. Madison should have a big game. You're going to need all 3 of those guys to stay in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the under hits here. Everyone's going to expect the over to hit here. Everyone's going to expect that the Niners come back and they just eviscerate this team after being embarrassed Sunday. I don't think so, man. Home dogs always pay dividends under the lights. Something tells me that the Niners could be hitting their skid right now. And if CMC doesn't play, it's an absolute lock. I just cannot see the Niners back-to-back weeks playing this poorly. But something tells me that there's going to be one person in America outside of Minnesota that takes the Minnesota Vikings. And that person's going to be me. Everyone else is going to be the San Francisco hype train. And injuries matter. They matter. Okay? They matter. Tight end university, Kittle versus Hawkinson. Hawkins is at home, hasn't had a big game in a while. I could see it. Kirk Cousins likes to throw the ball. He likes to throw the ball deep. I could see it. 6.5 is a lot versus a team that they played really bad last week. Really poorly. I mean, you lose to P.J. Walker and the Browns. Granted, that's a game you should have won, but something tells me, man, I smell a rat in this game. I smell a trap. I feel like the trap door is just waiting to slam shut on everyone's money. I'm going to take the Vikings, and I'm going to take them with confidence plus the 6.5. Don't ask me why.
Yeah, you're missing something important. It's Kirk Cousins in primetime. I mean,
yeah,
one of the worst primetime players ever. You give me this game at 12 o'clock, I have a different opinion on it, but I'm going to take the 49ers here. And one thing I wanted to quickly say is, why did they ruin the injury list in the NFL? Do you remember probable and doubtful and questionable?
Mm-hmm.
All of these things meant very different things. And now everybody's questionable. It doesn't matter. And you find out
you have a hangnail and be questionable, and you're not going to find out the guy's playing until 5 minutes before kickoff. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I wish they would change it back to the way it was because it was way better. Well, especially for fantasy. But I say like it's kind of silly, like, oh, it's just fantasy, but like this is like a part of football. Like it's growth. It's like brand is fantasy football, and it's just weird that they did that. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I just think the 49ers won't play this bad 2 weeks in a row. I do think it does look like Christian McCaffrey is going to play, so that obviously bodes very well for them. And I just couldn't see the 49ers putting 2 bad games back to back, right? It's a long NFL season. There's going to be weird games like the Browns. They had 2 really bad injuries in that game. I don't know. I just think a full week of preparation. They play really well in primetime games. I'll take the 49ers all day. I could see Kirk Cousins having a terrible, terrible game here.
I could see it too, but something smells fishy to me. I mean, if they can control Ayuk here, I think they're going to stay in this game. Don't ask me why, man. I don't know why I'm thinking the Vikings here. Maybe it's because I'm just tired of winning 6 games a week. I don't know. But watch, that 6 could turn into 3 with this pick. But I'm going to still take them here. I'm going to take them with confidence because it's a long season. Sustaining that kind of energy on the field week in and week out is difficult. And when your best player is not 100% and you roll the dice on not making him less than 100% continually, I mean, if I was a coach and Christian McCaffrey comes to me, he's like, man, I'm not feeling it. Your ass is sitting.
Oh, yeah.
You know what 100%. I mean? But these guys want to play, and this is a man's game, and pride matters. I mean, I don't know about you, but if a guy comes in my house to my front door and challenges me to a fight, it's going to be a lot different than if I'm out in the street and I get called out. You're not whooping my ass on my property. I'm sorry. And so I think these guys are going to play a lot harder than people think. I know the Kirk Cousins primetime jinx is real. I don't know, man. I think it ends here. I think he plays a really good game. For some reason, I don't know why, man. This is kind of like that Jets pick last week, but I had more to back that up of why it happened. This week, I just had a hunch that Minnesota is going to come to play, and I think they will. That's week 7. 6 teams on by: Carolina, Cincinnati, Dallas, Houston, the Jets, and the Tennessee Titans. Boy, you're starting to see the cream rise to the top, and you're starting to see the teams who are in the Super Bowl hunt, and then there's just everyone else, man. At this point, you are who you say you are. Week 7. Parting shots, Spencer.
Yeah, should be a good week of football. Yeah, we're getting to that point where, like you said, we're really starting to understand these teams a lot more. You get a little bit of information, but once you get closer to week 9, week 10, these teams start to really show themselves consistently.
Yeah, and I think teams like Kansas City know this. Teams like the Eagles know they can't drop 2 in a row. You know what I mean? The Miami Dolphins, they know that this is a statement win if they can get it. And if not, people are going to continue to really question them. I mean, there's only 7 teams that can win the Super Bowl. I don't think there's more than that. And those 7 teams know that if they don't play great week in and week out, every Monday morning, the pundits are going to be doubting them, the Stephen A. Smiths, and they're going to be doubting these guys, you know what I mean? And so they don't really care about that, but they know that you have to maintain a level of play in this league regularly and put tape down regularly. That's positive, or else you can't turn it on and off. This is not a light switch. You know what I mean? These guys are humans, and they know if they make mistakes, it's going to cost them games. 1 kick in San Francisco cost them that win.
Yep.
1 kick blew up so many tickets. I mean, it just goes to show you how the difference between winning and losing in this league is so small that it's inconceivable. Literally an inch could cost you a W. And I think you're going to see some more of those games coming this week. That's it, guys. We'll see you next week. Spencer, have a good week. Text you during the games. We're out.
All right. See you.
Later.